One of my greatest joys in life is greeting my middle school students and personally welcoming them into my classroom each morning. For the last 3 months, while I've been doing my best to keep it up on Zoom, it's really not the same. So on Wednesday evening, when I finally got to greet my 8th grade students again in person, I was truly filled with joy. This time they were slightly taller and dressed in caps and gowns, ready to celebrate a COVID-era outdoor graduation with limited attendance. In order to keep social distancing, most presentations, including the tossing of the graduation caps, were pre-recorded and shown on a large screen on the sides of a movie truck. It was truly a beautiful and well-deserved celebration. But while I've seen it before, seeing it on screen made me think, what is up with the graduation cap tossing? Is it just another American craze without any rhyme or reason that we all just go along with? So I did a little research, using Rabbi Google, of course. And I not only learned about its history and meaning, but recognized its relevance to this week's Torah portion and the deep connection I personally feel to it. It started 14 years ago. I had reached a crossroad in my life. I'd been serving as an assistant Chabad rabbi for 5 years, and it was time for me to move on. Where was I going to go? What was I going to do? While there were a number of nice opportunities, most of them seemed to be ones I'd rather keep on my backup plan. There was one, however, that I really hoped for. But since I wasn't the only one pursuing it, I was left feeling anxious and uncertain. Until one evening, I was studying the daily Torah portion. It was our Parsha, Ve'et Hanan, and suddenly a light bulb went on, one that lit up my entire being. It was one of those moments that reminded me of the incredible power of Torah and how it gives us clarity, direction, and purpose. But first I want to go back and tell you what I found on Google yesterday. I discovered that the first to toss their graduation caps was the U.S. Naval Academy located in Annapolis, Maryland, at their commencement ceremony in 1912. And yes, they actually had a reason for doing so. You see, prior to 1912, graduates of the Navy Academy were required to serve 2 years in the fleet as midshipmen before being commissioned as full-fledged Navy officers. And apparently, they continued to wear the same hats worn while attending the Navy Academy. In 1912, things changed, with the graduating class being presented with their new officer's hat at their graduation. And as the former hats were no longer needed, the graduates were delighted to toss their caps into the air and not worry about getting them back. This tradition quickly spread to universities across the nation, becoming the triumphant symbol that it is today. Apparently, in recent years, despite students' displeasure, some schools have put a stop to cap tossing due to student injury. I guess that's another benefit of doing a pre-recorded cap tossing at home. Now let's take a look at the incredible connection to the second section of this week's Torah portion. There I was 14 years ago, my mind clouded and filled with uncertainty, when I started reading the daily Chumash. This is the rule concerning the Levites. From the age of 25 years old, they must enter the service to work in the tent of meeting. But wait, I thought, didn't we just learn 2 weeks ago that they started this service at the age of 30? As I continued reading Rashi's commentary, I was reminded that he addresses this very question. Rashi explains that much like the Navy graduates, from the age of 25, the Levites would do 5 years of training. And only afterwards, at the age of 30, were they promoted to their actual temple service. It was at that moment that I became cognizant of the fact that a path is set before us. Our lives are orchestrated by God. Incredibly, it was exactly 5 years earlier, right before my 25th birthday, that I had joined the ranks as the Rebbe's emissary. And here I was, a descendant of the Levite tribe, just weeks away from my 30th birthday. Indeed, just several weeks later, on June 29th, 2006, an article announcing the opening of Chabad OT was published in the Jewish Standard, titled, "The Rebbe's New Soldier." My friends, with all we have gone through over the last 3 months, many of us have feelings of anxiety and uncertainty about what the future might bring. But while our minds may at times be clouded, and what we may be experiencing may seem like a network of loose ends, knots, and chaos, let's remember that what we're really seeing is just the back of the tapestry. However, since it is God who runs the world, and God can also see the other side of the tapestry, where there is order, purpose, and beauty, we can be confident and optimistic that soon we too, like God, will see the beauty of this world from the front of the tapestry. Then, in a global graduation ceremony, we will all toss our old caps, our old perspectives and anxieties, and we will proudly march together with joy to our holy land with the rebuilding of the Bet HaMikdash, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. May we merit to this beautiful celebration today. Amen.